One thing about Satan's servants is they just don't ever seem to get it, and they always twist the truth to serve their continuing in their lies. Those who become his servants always veer off from the truth. They certainly do not know that they are Satan's servants, or at least most of them do not. Over 1/3 of those who serve Satan in the world today even use our Creator's word to defend their beliefs, but they always go off on some rabbit trail and twist it. They cannot stay focused on the truth. Why is this? I will tell you plainly. It is because they love the darkness and not the light. The light is a burden to them, so they have to twist it in order to dim it down to their comfort zone, so they can remain in their false beliefs. They do not want to let their Creator define his word. They want to define it with their own understanding because they want to decide right from wrong for themselves. This is the same sin as the original sin in the garden. Satan's servants do the same thing in regards to saying that we are to follow no man. They twist it. Of course we are to follow no man, but the truth is our Creator speaks through his servants, his prophets. Yeshua said in John chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." He also said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." And he said, "Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead." And he said, "If any man chooses to come behind me, he must disown himself and take up his stake and follow him." He said, "If you want to be perfect, go and sell what you have and give it to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven, and follow me," he says. He said, "If any man wants to serve me, he needs to follow me, and where I am, there will my servant be." And he said, "If any man serves me, my Father will honor him." And the book of Revelation says that the true servants of the Most High will follow the Lamb wherever he goes. This includes whoever he's working through. He said that if we do, then we will later follow him into his Father's kingdom. There was another man who said, "Follow me" as well. I do not know how many times that he said it in real life, but I do know that it is recorded 3 times in his writings that made it into what is called the New Testament. It was Saul of Tarsus. One of these 3 times he said to follow me as I follow the Messiah, but there's a problem with this. He was not following the Messiah. He had his own more excellent way. He even called it that way himself. He said that he was following the Messiah, but he veered off from the truth that Yeshua brought forward. He said that he was being led by the spirit of Elohim, but he was being led by his father, the devil's spirit. The same is true with all of Satan's servants. They claim that they are being led by the Holy Spirit, and they might even call his spirit by the Hebrew words that so many are starting to use today, his Kodesh Ruach. Some are using these Hebrew words to make them appear more righteous. I'm in no way condemning the use of these Hebrew words. If you want to use them, that's great. But I am speaking against those who throw these Hebrew words around, yet blaspheme his spirit by claiming that they are being led by it in their vain hypocrisy, when they're really being led by their father, the devil. Some of these people have recently spoken out against me that I am saying to follow me and that I'm just a man. They lie against the truth. I'm not speaking on my own authority in one way, shape, or form. I am telling people to hearken to their Creator and to his Son. I am saying to follow the truth that they are restoring through me. These men are foolish in their hypocrisy because they themselves follow the lies of men while rejecting my Father's word. Where do they think that they got their beliefs from, and where do they still get them from today? They get them from the teachings of men. They are following men who are not even being guided by my Father's 7 spirits. Elohim speaks through men, and so does Satan. So how can we know who he is speaking through? John chapter 10, verse 25, Yeshua answered to them. He said, "I told you, and you do not believe me. The works that I do in my Father's name testify to me. You are not my sheep, because you do not believe me. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." He told them that they are not his sheep because they did not believe him. He was his Father's word, or his logos in the flesh, but his logos had no place in them. And he said they were of their father, the devil. He said that he came in his Father's name, which is his righteous character. In their hypocrisy, they could not see this nor hear him, because they already thought that they were righteous. They were wise in their own understanding. He testified to their hypocrisy, and they did not like it. And of course, we know they put him to death eventually. The same is happening today. I have come in his Father's name. The works that he has sent me to do bear witness or testify that he has sent me, just as they did to Yeshua. His word testifies to me, just as his word testified to his Son. But most of you do not believe me, because his word has no place in you, because you do not believe his word. And this is all about believing his word. It testifies to who has his Spirit. All of you who claim that you have his Kodesh Ruach, but you don't even believe him, you lie to yourself, and you are of your father the devil, and you are being led and guided by him. Yeshua said in John chapter 5, verse 43, I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another man comes in his own name, you will receive him. He was telling them that they receive what others have to say, and they listen to them because they bear a different name. People that are not walking in the light have no problem listening to the dark. It is the light that tweaks them. Oh, how true this is proving to be the same today. Nothing's changed. I have come forward with the proof in our Creator's word that bears witness that Yeshua is the first witness, and I have his Father's word backing me up. We are told in Revelations 11:4 that the two witnesses are the two olive trees that are standing on both sides of the candlestick, that stand in the presence of Elohim and the earth. Zechariah tells us that these two olive trees are the two anointed ones. He tells us that the oil is being poured out from the candlestick through these two olive trees. Revelations 3:1 records that Yeshua possesses these seven spirits. Revelation 4:5 records that the seven spirits are the oil that the candlestick burns with. And we're told in Zechariah that it flows out from. Revelations 5:6 records that the seven spirits are also the seven eyes of Yahweh that would be sent to the whole world. Isaiah 11 records what these seven spirits are. They are the spirit of Yahweh, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of counsel, the spirit of might or his strength, the spirit of knowledge, and the spirit of the fear of Yahweh. So Isaiah prophesied that Yeshua would be given these seven spirits here in chapter 11, and Revelations records that he possesses them, and both Revelations and Zechariah record that the two witnesses are those who possess his seven spirits. They are standing by the candlestick. It is impossible to refute that Yeshua is one of the two witnesses. You have to be deliberately rebellious and not believe our Creator's word in order to do so. And why do you want to refute this anyway? It is because you want to hold on to the teachings of men that you believe. Maybe you choose to hold on to the translations of men about both witnesses lying dead in the street of Jerusalem instead of believing his word here that is being shown to you. Or maybe it is some other preconceived belief that has come from your teachings of men that is blocking your vision. In any case, you are choosing to not believe your Creator's word because he is revealing his truth today. And it's black and white in front of us. One witness will be dead on the streets of Jerusalem for 3.5 days. Yeshua was already dead for 3.5 days. He was in the tomb for 3 days and 3 nights, but he was dead for 3.5 days, just as the second witness will be. The second witness will not be placed in a tomb as Yeshua was, be left on the streets. Do you think that Josephus going and getting permission from Pilate to take him down and from the stake, and that the time that it took for him to do this and to prepare his body happened instantaneously? No, it took a half a day. He was dead at about 3 p.m. on the 14th day of the first month, just at the precise timing that the Passover lambs or goats are to be killed, and the tomb was shut at about 3 a.m. the next morning. Those who try to refute this use false doctrines such as the sundown to sundown day that came from Judaism to do so. You claim that he was buried before sundown that night? Save it. I'm not interested in hearing you. My Father's word proves that this doctrine of each day beginning at sundown is false, just as his word proves a Sunday morning resurrection is false. Scoff as you will, but you are being told this from the other one who possesses his 7 spirits. If you want to hold on to your doctrines that came from the teachings of men, that is your choice. Besides Yeshua, there is only one other who was recorded in Scripture to have Yahweh's 7 spirits poured out through him, and this man is Zerubbabel. Back to Zechariah chapter 4. And the angel said to Zechariah, "What do you see?" And I looked and beheld, and I said, a candlestick of all gold with a bowl with the top of it, and 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are with the top of it, and 2 olive trees with it, one with the right side of the bowl, and the other with the left side of it. So I answered and spoke to the angel that talked with me, and said, Adon, what are these? Pay close attention. The angel answered, Don't you know? And Zechariah replied, No, what are they? He wanted to know what the olive trees represented. And then in verse 6, the angel answered and spoke to me, saying, This is the word of Yahweh that is upon Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says Yahweh of hosts. The word of Yahweh was going to be given to Zerubbabel. He is saying that his word will be according to Zerubbabel. So Zerubbabel will come forth with his word, just as the other prophets came forth with his word. His word was given to his prophets, just as it is being given to the one who would be called Zerubbabel. So are you saying that his prophets were saying to follow them? Or are they saying to follow the word of Elohim that's been given to them? I have spoken about who Zerubbabel would be several times in these videos. Zerubbabel means one who would be delivered out of the captivity. Look up the word. Just before these verses here in Zechariah 3, we read that a brand would be plucked out of the fire and would be given a change of remnant. Back in chapter 3, this brand would become one stone, which is a prophecy that Yeshua, the high priest, would enter into this stone, just as he entered into the other 143,999 stones. Is this not the message that I have brought forth? Have I also not declared in these videos how his truth will go out, not by might nor by power, but by our Creator's 7 spirits? Go back and listen to these videos. In the next verse, he says, Who are you, great mountain? Before Zerubbabel's face you will become a plain, and he will bring forth the headstone, shouting favor, favor to it. Yeshua is the headstone. Zerubbabel would be raised up and sent forward to declare his return, just as John the Baptist was raised up to declare his coming the first time. Both were raised up in the spirit of Elijah. And this fits into other prophecies, Malachi and such. I have also not proclaimed, have I not also proclaimed that favor will be given to those who turn to the truth in all of these videos? Is not Yeshua the truth that I am pointing people to, along with what he represented, his Father's logos, being made in the image of his logos? Have not I been speaking that the mountains of men will be brought low in the coming weeks and months? The word for plain in this verse can also refer to justice, or that which is level, or equity. Have I not been speaking of our Creator's righteous judgment? I want to jump to another prophecy that fits into this, because some of you have scoffed about me bringing forth the day and the year of his return and his Father's vengeance. This was prophesied to happen not only here in Zechariah, but also in Isaiah 61. And the Spirit of Adonai Yahweh is upon me, because Yahweh has anointed me to preach good tidings to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. He anointed Yeshua to begin to fulfill this when he came the first time, and through his blood this has continued since then, and his Father's temple was built through him. But Isaiah goes on to add in the next verse, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, and to comfort all that mourn, and to appoint to them that mourn in Zion, to give them a head covering for ashes, the oil of joy. Going back to the oil that pours out of the 7 lampstands for the morning. Ties this in that this is Zerubbabel he's referring to here, that Yeshua would give this message through. It's still coming through Yeshua. The oil of joy for mourning, and the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh, that he would be glorified. And that's what he's doing too. He's planting those who will become part of a larger second harvest here that will live through the coming wrath that will turn to him. Yeshua did not proclaim the day and the year back then, but he is doing so now through his servant. And he did not tell people to cover their heads back then, but his Father is telling those who will be his people to do so today. He has sent forth this, and talked about this, and we'll get to it here a little bit too. The Ezekiel 24 sign has gone out. His Father made his 7 spirits available through Yeshua, through his blood, for those who became the small flock, his temple. These are those who followed him. But after he came and was killed, most followed a counterfeit Messiah. They came from the doctrines of the abomination of desolation, Saul of Tarsus, instead of following him. And this has continued to this day. Now his 7 spirits are going out to the whole world through Yeshua and this other is Zerubbabel, the brand that was plucked out of the fire that he entered into. 1 stone, not 2. These are the 2 olive trees. The next verse says in Isaiah 61 verse 4, and they will build the old waste places and will raise up the former desolations, and they will repair the waste cities and the desolations of many generations. The truth has certainly been desolated. Yeshua will return and restore all things, but he and his Father have begun to do this through Zerubbabel, the 1 stone. Again, go back to the videos and measure this against what's been given. He did not do this when he came the first time. Listen to the messages on the Repairing the Breach site and tell yourself that this is not what is happening. Listen to the messages about things like how the 7th year Sabbath has been restored and everything else that's being restored. Can I really be making this up? Could I bring forth the Ezekiel 24 sign when he said that when this sign comes forward from one who is delivered from the captivity, that you can know that it is from him? Ezekiel did not say that Zerubbabel would bring forth this sign. He said that one would escape or be delivered from the captivity would bring it. Zerubbabel is this man, since this is what his name means. Precept upon precept, folks. This is not that difficult. And what was my real name before I was given this name? It is Michael. In Daniel 12, and at that time Michael will stand up, the great prince which stands for the children of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as there never was since there was a nation, even to this time. And at this time your people will be delivered, every one that is found written in the book. It is amazing how much proof that he has given. I did not give myself the name Michael. It was given to me at birth, and I was groomed for this job throughout my life. I remain in the captivity, but he certainly prepared me for it in different ways looking back. Part of my grooming was to be buried in the captivity and let to become clothed in filthy rags. Obviously, if I was to become a brand plucked out of the fire, I had to be charred by the fire. And some of you have the nerve to say to me that I am saying, follow me. Why is this? It is because my Father's word has no place in you. This is the reason that you do not hear Yeshua's voice through me. You do not believe my Father's word that testifies to me. You want to hold on to the false doctrines that came from your father the devil because the light is too bright for you. Your boat was rocked too much. If you believe what I am saying, then you would have to make some serious changes and quickly. So it's easier for you to dismiss me and call me false. The problem for you is you have to dismiss my Father's word in order to do so. And this would be your condemnation. All because you love the darkness rather than the light. You say that you have my Father's Kodesh Roach, or his spirit, but you are full of hypocrisy and you are dead men walking if you don't repent. Back to Zechariah, the next verse says in verse 8, moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel are the foundation of this house, and his hands will finish it, will break it off, and you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent him to you. You will know this. I have spoken that his temple, which is the 144,000, was finished with me. It was finished with the work that has been given to me. This is what it means that it was finished with his hands. As I said, Yeshua entered into me, just as he wants to enter into each of you if you will come to him in spirit and in truth. The work that has been given to me is not my work. And he's asking you to join into it because it's his work. The temple was built with his son's hands, and his son has entered into me just as he entered into the rest of the 144,000. Some of them were already sleeping by the time that he came, but he will enter into them when they are resurrected, just as he entered into the 24 elders when they were resurrected. But they were built through him nevertheless, even those who came before him and died. The next verse says in verse 10, because who has despised the day of small things? Rejoice when you see the plummet, or the measuring rod, or the reed that is spoken of in Revelation 11, in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahweh which run to and fro through the whole earth. Are you rejoicing or are you scoffing? You should be rejoicing, because now that he has sent forward the measuring rod and announced that his 7 spirits have been sent out to the whole world, you can know that his son's return has been announced through this man who was made to be Zerubbabel. But sadly, only a few of you are rejoicing. Most of you are scoffing and blaspheming his servant. You are also blaspheming his son in doing so, because he is who I am following, and he is who is living in me, giving me what to say. You're lifted up like self-righteous mountains, and you are about ready to be leveled like a plain by my Father's righteous judgment. And this is what this prophecy says here in Zechariah. If you argue that I have not brought forth the measuring rod, then once again you have not believed the first witness. He testified to what I have spoken about the measuring rod when he came the first time. And I've spoken about this in a lot of videos, so I'm not going to go into the details of it. But just as he testified to the fact that I have been authorized to turn the water into blood as well. But many of you are scoffing at this. He testified to this when he turned the water into wine for his first miracle. He used the ritualistic cleansing pots for a vehicle to perform this miracle. And then later on, the night before his murder, he said that the wine is a symbol of his blood. You scoff at me, yet you have no explanation for these two events. It makes any sense whatsoever. You cannot even explain how water baptism can cleanse anyone, because it is just water, and we have to be cleansed by the blood. He did nothing without symbolism, so why can't you explain these things apart from the explanation that has been given through me? And so he said the 2 witnesses will have the authority to turn the water into blood, and that's what's being said here. Now I ask you to tell me, why did he turn the water into wine that day for his first miracle? And why did he say that the wine is a symbol of his blood the night before he was killed? What I have spoken has been testified by the Logos of Elohim, straight down the line. Everything in these videos has been. Your denying his word is proving to be a witness against you. Zechariah goes on in verse 11, Then I answered and said to him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side of it? And I answered again and said to him, What are these 2 olive shoots which the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves through? And he answered me and said, Do you not know what these 2 are? And I said, No, Adon. And he said, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand with Adon in the whole earth. For those of you all tripped up by me being a man, has our Creator not always spoken through his servants that were men? Was not this prophesied to be so in all of these prophecies? Did not John the Baptist come as a man in the spirit of Elijah to proclaim Yeshua's entrance on the scene the first time? Was he not born of man and of a woman? And did not Yeshua himself come as a man? How about all the other prophets? I am not telling you to follow me. I am telling you to follow the word that is being restored through me. The word that Zechariah here records that Zerubbabel would be given the word of Yahweh. It is not my word. It is our Creator's word that was to accompany Zerubbabel. And if you can deny that he has raised me up to be this man, then you obviously do not think that he is powerful enough even to protect his word. Again, I say this because he said that when the Ezekiel 24 sign comes forward from one who was delivered out of the captivity, then you can know that it is him who sent it. Here is today's summary of some of the things that I spoke about. Number 1, his 7 spirits are poured out through the 2 olive trees. Number 2, the 2 olive trees are the 2 witnesses. Number 3, the only 2 people who are recorded to have his 7 spirits poured out through them, they are Yeshua and Zerubbabel. This proves that Yeshua and Zerubbabel are the 2 witnesses. Yeshua, the high priest, would give a brand that would be plucked out of the fire, a change of remnant. Number 5, this man would become 1 stone that would be sent forward. Number 6, Ezekiel recorded that one would be delivered out from the captivity with a 5-point sign that would come from Yahweh Elohim, and one of these 5 points is the command for us to cover our heads. Number 7, Isaiah also recorded that one would give a head covering for ashes, and he also said the same one would bring forth the oil of joy, tying that into Zerubbabel and Zechariah having the oil coming out of the lamps. Number 8, Isaiah also prophesied that the one who did this would declare the day and the year of Elohim's vengeance. And it ties it back to Zerubbabel as well, proclaiming the year of his vengeance. And of course we know that his son is returning with his vengeance. From other prophecies. In Zechariah, number 9, Zechariah also recorded that Zerubbabel would do the same as far as proclaiming the year when he said that he would bring forth the headstone, which is Yeshua. Zechariah also recorded that Zerubbabel would bring forth the measuring rod, which is what all will be measured by when he brought forth the announcement about the 7 spirits going out. Number 11, John recorded that the 2 witnesses had the measuring rod or the reed that the temple was measured with. And Yeshua testified to this measuring rod as well when he said that all will be judged by it. Number 12, Daniel said that one would come forward to stand for Yahweh's people before the destruction of the end times. And he said that this man has the name Michael. There have been many other prophecies that are being fulfilled that I've spoken of in others of these videos, but as I have said often, it is not about me, but it is about what he is sending forth and restoring through me. The only thing that is left to be seen is the mountains of men being leveled into plains by our Creator's righteous judgment. This will include plagues and natural disasters and such, like the world has never known nor ever will know again. Buckle up.